Okay, and we're back, and just so I can show you what that reference was I was talking about.
Just a flower bush. Nothing special, really. Although, now that I take a closer look, there's a ball here. With a note? Sometimes a pony just has a plain old ball emergency, and that's why I've set these up. Play around with it as much as you like. Just make sure you return it here when you're done with it. Wouldn't want some pony to have a ball emergency and not be able to solve it. Okie dokie, Loki. Somehow, I get a sense for who put this here. Okay, Apple Bloom?
Huh?
No.
I wasn't.
Okay. That whole cape thing belonged to Apple Bloom, who claims that she wasn't anywhere near the Carousel Boutique. But if she wasn't, how did she go and get that fixed? That's got to be the hole in her story.
Aha!
You gotta be kidding me.
I certainly.
Apple.
I am afraid to say I don't think you're being honest with me here.
Huh? Of course I am, Twi. How could you say something like that?
Oh no, I'm not being guilt-tripped this time. I found a scrap of your cape near the bridge to the Carousel Boutique. I know you were there, Apple Bloom.
Oh, well, that doesn't mean that was left there last night, does it? Why, that was left there a long time ago, Twi.
Apple Bloom, are you seriously pulling this one?
Sure, a scrap of my cape was found near there, but come on! That could have been left there at any time.
Apple Bloom, you don't really expect me to buy that, do you?
I won't! It's the honest, just the last of your truth, Twi.
I guess we're going to have to do this the hard way.
So, I don't know if I can really...
I know.
I wasn't really...
Well, at least now we have another part of the story to present. Whether or not that's actually going to do us any good, it remains to be seen.
No, Apple Bloom. I'm afraid that one's not going to fly. I talked to Rarity earlier, and she told me that you had this fixed this morning.
Yeah, but...
Your prized Cutie Mark Crusaders cape. Apple Bloom, come on. You can't tell me that you wouldn't get that fixed as soon as possible.
But it... I mean... All right, you win, Twi. I'm sorry.
Damn right you're sorry. Now get down on your knees!
It's okay. But please, I need you to tell me what you know. I can't help if I don't know as much as possible.
Last night was added to questions.
All right, Apple Bloom. Please tell me everything you know about what happened last night.
I can't.
And why not?
You better. After everything I went through to get to this point, you better.
'Cause I can't.
Apple Bloom, I think I know why you're not talking.
Oh, great. Here we are again. It's because of this, isn't it? No.
You're trying to protect Scootaloo, aren't you? I haven't heard from her all day, and Rarity said some things about you three that seemed awfully suspicious.
Yeah, you got it, Twi.
Apple Bloom, listen to me. I know your heart is in the right place, but this isn't the right way to protect Scootaloo. There's an investigative team coming in from Canterlot to handle this case. It's very, very important that I have this case closed before they get here.
You don't mean that investigation team, do ya?
I'm afraid I do.
Okay, I get it, Twi. No more hiding, promise. I wasn't being truthful because, well, I was awful worried about Scootaloo. last night, we were rehearsing a comedy routine that we had planned to put on for Rarity's birthday, which is coming up pretty soon. We've been doing that for quite a while now.
Oh, right. Comedy, of course. Great.
Well, yeah, this'll learn all cutie marks for sure. But you can't tell any pony about this, Twi. This is super duper top secret. It won't work if it's not a surprise.
Sure. You can trust me. Cross my heart and hope to fly. Stick a cupcake in my eye.
That a yes?
Yes.
Well, alright then. Anyway, we were practicing in the town square last night like always, and things are going pretty well. We took a break during which time me and Sweetie Belle hung out by the bridge. But I don't know where Scootaloo was at that time, or what she was up to. A short while after that, we heard a sudden loud crash coming from Carousel Boutique. We didn't know what in tarnation was happening now, so we just watched for a bit to see what was going on. And then a little while after that, some pony ran across the bridge real fast. We didn't get a good look at it, but I'm pretty sure it was Scootaloo, Twi.
What? Oh, no, that can't be right.
Afraid it is, Twi. I didn't know what was going on, but since it seemed like Scootaloo was in trouble, we all figured, well, better not say anything about it. I'm awful sorry I lied to you, Twi.
It's fine, really. You did the right thing in telling me all this. This has been a big help.
Scootaloo's not a thief, Twi. You gotta believe me. You gotta help her. Promise.
I promise on my honor as an investigator that I will clear Scootaloo's name and get to the bottom of this.
Is that something that's valuable?
Let's just say that, yes, I promise.
Unfortunately for you, I'm not really an investigator. She's going to jail! Scootaloo updated in evidence. Well, at least that's finally taken care of. Was at the scene of the crime at the time it was carried out yesterday. Seems as though she stayed at the scene for a little while before leaving. You know, now that I think about it, I haven't seen Scootaloo that flustered since you were trying to get a nature cutie mark.
Nature cutie mark?
Well, yeah. You know how Fluttershy is all, like, in tune with animals and stuff, right? Well, we figured we can do something like that, too. So we paid a trip one day to her chicken coop to be one with nature. It, turns out that Scootaloo doesn't make such a good chicken after all. And we found that out, and we found out that Fluttershy's definitely been creeping current on her Iron Will Assert in this training. But, oh well, live and learn, right, Twi?
Well, you have the live part down, Pat.
Alright, well, at least I finally got something out of Apple Bloom here, regarding Scootaloo and whatnot. Unless something else is being hidden here in this vast blackness, let's talk to Rarity again.
Rarity, I hate to say it, but I don't think you're telling me the whole truth here.
Why, darling, whatever do you mean? I dare say I resent your accusation, my dear.
All right then, let's look at this a different way. How quickly did you come downstairs after you thought something was wrong?
Immediately, of course, but I don't see what relevance that has to anything.
I don't have all the answers here, but neither does Rarity. Maybe I can get her to talk, if I make it seem like I know more than I really do. Rarity, I spoke to Apple Bloom earlier and learned that she witnessed Scootaloo crashing through your window last night.
What's up with the voices? All of a sudden the volume is really low.
I also learned that Scootaloo stayed for roughly a minute before leaving the boutique. Now, if you came downstairs immediately after hearing the crash, don't you think you might have seen something?
I mean, that is... I suppose you do have a point.
Thanks, Celestia. It worked.
Last night finally unlocked.
You are correct, Twilight. I did see Scootaloo last night. I did not know what to make of it, and then to protect her. I do apologize for not being forthright about it.
I understand, Rarity. But if that investigation team from Canterlot comes here and finds any of that out, what do you think their conclusion is going to be?
You do have a point, I must say.
Last night was added to interrogations.
Alright, time to get to the bottom of this.
Oh god, here comes another 45-minute flopping around here.
Alright, Rarity. Please tell me everything you know about what you saw last night. I can't help if I don't have all the details.
Okay, press for info and present evidence whenever something doesn't add up.
Of course, Twilight. I shall do my best. I finished up all of my work for yesterday evening earlier than I had expected, so naturally I wanted to get my beauty sleep. I had been somewhat deprived as far as sleep goes, given that a certain client of mine had made several last-minute orders.
Which certain client was this, out of curiosity?
Who else but Sapphire Shores? She gives me such good business. But I don't want to gossip, of course, but my goodness, does that man love jewels, Twilight? Although, I suppose her request was what got me searching for gems, which was what caused me to find True Blue in the first place. It wasn't so bad, all things told. Well, as soon as I get True Blue back, that is. Hint, hint.
Right, so anyway, you had just gone to sleep?
I had finally fallen into a blissful, restful sleep when, all of a sudden, I awoke to the sound of a loud crash coming from the first floor.
What kind of crash are we talking about, exactly?
The kind of crash that a window makes when it gets broken. Honestly, Twilight, I dare say I needn't spell this one out for you.
Aha, right. Wait, so what did you do when you heard this crash?
Well, I was just scared out of my wits at that moment, so I made great haste downstairs to see what in Celestia's name was going on.
What I found there was awful, terrible, horrible. The first floor of my boutique, ransacked, ruined, torn apart, oh, what is a mare to do? Worse still, True Blue, my prize jewel, was gone, snatched from my very home. And perhaps worst of it all, when I came to the scene, the first thing I saw was the image of a orange and purple pony darting for my door. I cannot explain what I saw any other way until today Scootaloo broke into the window to my boutique, tore my boutique apart in search of True Blue, and then made off with it.
Surely you can see why I kept this from you, Twilight. This isn't Scootaloo at all. Yet, there she was.
I know this can't be right. It just can't. But is there anything wrong with what she's saying?
I finished up all of I had been
If there were potentially dangerous thieves in your home, why would you have gone downstairs so quickly? Weren't you worried for your safety?
I suppose that I did not even consider the possibility that I might have been in danger, now that you mention it. But really, Twilight, that's rather beside the point, is it not? What I found there was...
Is that really the only interpretation there is for what happened?
I'm afraid I can't think of any other, Twilight. I do truly apologize. Surely you can see why
I know this can't.
I finished. I had been so...
Wow, you seem pretty upset. I'm sorry.
Of course I'm upset!
All the time put into organization and sorting and everything like that was just ruined.
Now I'm going to have to put all that work into sorting the first floor all over again.
That's what has her upset? I know I can be a bit obsessive about organization, but sheesh.
Worse still, True Blue, my prize jewel. Was he...
Is that really really the only interpretation there is?
I'm afraid. Sure,
I know that.
I finished up.
Oops, didn't mean to click that one.
Well, I had fun.
Who knows? I still want to know what the hell that whole pointed star is all about, and it doesn't seem like anything Sapphire Shores would wear, you know, given her obsession with gems, so let me see here.
Rarity, what you said contradicts this bit of evidence.
No. I don't believe it does, Twilight.
Oh, my mistake.
I have been somewhat...
Well, as she came careening through the window at a speed of light.
Rarity. Oh.
What I found...
Well, looks like it's time for the ancient art of presenting every single piece of evidence and hoping that it works.
I have been somewhat...
Rarity. I know that this is going to sound entirely irrelevant, but I think I have a lead on what might have happened to Opalescence. At least, if not True Blue.
Finally, I think I'm onto something here.
Oh, do tell, darling! Although I do admit that I must agree, in that I can't see how this is relevant to what we're discussing here.
I found some white hair right near the tracks outside the window, and judging from their length and color, I don't think there's anyone else they could have come from other than Opalescence. As a result, I think we can reasonably conclude that if those tire marks are from Scootaloo, then it's entirely likely that she crashed through your window completely by accident, not purposefully. She was probably trying to avoid crashing into Opal, which may well have spooked Opal into running away.
Really? But then, that makes things all the more peculiar, because it is still the fact that she must have stolen True Blue, no?
Let me ask a very important question before answering that. Do you, by any chance, keep your door locked when you go to sleep at night?
Why, yes, of course I do. But I don't see what that has to do with anything.
One follow-up question then. Do you also bring an opal from outside when you go to bed?
Of course! The poor dear, I couldn't leave her to fend for herself at night.
Then I think we've established something even more important than the accidental break-in.
Twilight, I must ask that you be more direct, as I am not following one word you're saying.
Alright, let's think about the facts of the case thus far. We know that you heard a crash and came downstairs to see Scootaloo quickly leaving your boutique. We can reasonably conclude that she probably was responsible for the broken window. However, we also know that the broken window was likely an accident, and that she had veered off course with her scooter because she was avoiding Opal, who was immediately in front of her path. You just told me, though, that you bring an opal and lock your door at night, so that raises perhaps the most interesting question of all here. Namely, what was Opal doing outside in the first place?
But she would have gotten out when Scootaloo opened the door, would she not?
That's not possible. Think about it. When was it that she veered to avoid Opal?
Right before she crashed through the window.
I trust you're beginning to see my point. If indeed your door had been locked and had remained that way until Scootaloo left, there would have been no way Opal would have been outside in the first place.
But that would mean that some pony else was in my boutique as well?
Exactly. I think we can reasonably conclude at this point that there at least is the possibility that someone else had entered your boutique before Scootaloo. And that they're the ones who opened the door so that Opal could get out. The question now, though, is who that would be. And that's just what I'm going to find out. Well, this case has certainly turned out to be more interesting than I thought it would be. First, Scootaloo, of all ponies, comes under suspicion. And now we've opened the possibility that some pony else was also at the scene of the crime. Just who was it that came to the boutique before Scootaloo did? I have the feeling that this case is going to get even more interesting from here on out. And I won't rest until I've seen it through to the end.
Huh. I guess that's where the demo ends. Well, that whole vast blackness thing was was certainly crippling the efforts, and seeing how it is that took forever, I completely ended up forgetting most of the important stuff that I found earlier on in the game. But while the blackness was at fault for hiding the piece of the Cutie Mark Crusader's cape, it was also my fault for not remembering the important pieces of the initial investigation. So it's shaping out to be a good game so far, but guys, please fix the problem of the vast blackness. That's all I got to say right now. I am spent as far as this goes.